everyone, and welcome back to the Colour Cave, where we like to play with art stuff. It's Jem here, and today we are going to finish off our page in Dromenvanger. We are still using the Arteza 120 set of pencils, and I'm actually really excited about getting this done. It is really early in the morning, well, a weekend morning. It's 8:05 in the morning. I have tea. So let's just get down to business. If I do get this side finished off today, which I've got a funny feeling we might, I might do a little bit more on this side just to make up to neither that sort of 45 minutes hour slot, because I know quite a lot of you like to have this on in the background when you're doing other things. So let's take a wee look here and get zoomed in a bit. So really all we've got left to do is this butterfly is the last sort of main part that we've got to deal with. And we need to give our little Gnome clothes some colour as well. We've got a few mushrooms to do and then the centres of the flowers, and we are done. So we'll just go. Right, so we're going to start with our butterfly just because that's the kind of main focus of the picture today. So just get zoomed in a wee bit. And I have here the 3 sets of combinations that I used for our birdie friend over here. And again, I'm kind of going back to this theory that there is such a lot going on in this picture and I don't want it to be any more busier than it needs to. So I thought it would be quite nice to tie in these colours together. And if I can incorporate some of those colours in on the other side, on the opposite page, then I may well do that as well. So just a reminder of what we've got on the go here. The blue colours that I was using: Peacock Blue, Mykonos Blue and Indigo. The purple colours were Royal Purple, Wine Red and Ube. And then I have these lovely, oh, that's the only thing about these pencils, they're very rolly. And the 2 yellows that we had are Tuscan Sun and Vermilion. So I'm thinking to myself that I'll take these sort of purpley shades and I'm going to start with Ube. And around the outsides here, I would like the purple rather than the blue or the yellow, just for contrast, because it's next door to like a yellowy shade. So I've just got the Ube here. And I'm just kind of like planning out in my head what colours I want to go where. So if we have purpley colours there, I think that we may use the yellows on the body and possibly these kind of like wingtip sections. And that might work. And then I'll jump between the blues and the purples for here. I think these middle sections here I might make purple. Can't really see that one. And then have the blues round about. I think that's going to probably be the best course of action. As for these antennae, I might make them purple rather than, yeah. There we go. Right, that's me. I have a plan. So I'm just going to put another layer of this Ube down. And just very, very light-handed though, I'm not pressing hard. This is a very delicate shade, you know, it's a very delicate pencil, so you don't expect to have, you know, like masses and masses of vibrant colour. So I'm just putting in a wee shadow here. That's to help give the impression that this top wing is overlapping the one underneath. So I might even, with a really sharp point on this wine red though, I might even just put a tiny little tickle of that in just to darken it down. Yeah, there we go. So it looks as if, you know, you can see that overlap sort of thing. So I'm just going to work away with this royal purple now and really sort of build up this colour. I do like the Ube in that it's very, very delicate, but if you only use that on its own, things can look a little bit washed out. So I'm really just lining. And this doesn't have to be uniform either. I mean, like, I'm not really bothered about having, like, you know, an absolute block of purple, all of the same shade. This is just a picture full of interesting things, and if we keep it interesting, then we're not going to be doing it any harm, that's for sure. So the same in here, I'll just get a little bit of the royal purple. So I'm putting more layers down in at this corner just to darken it down again. And we'll just go back here with this Ube. So in this middle section for the wing, I'm going to skip the UB altogether, so I'm using the royal purple. And I'm just going to bring that right in here, like this. And then I'm going to put some wine red in at the base, near the body. I'm trying to decide whether I'm happy or not with that. I think I am. So we've got this section down here as well, and I'm going to run that wine red along there first before I put this purple down. So now what I'm looking for is a contrast line between the purple that's on the bottom part of the top wing and the top part of this bottom wing. So I'm going to lean quite heavily and I'm going to put down much more of this wine red. There we go. Right, I'm reasonably happy with that. I'll zoom in a little bit just so that you can see that and see what I've done there. I can't be that zoomed in when I'm actually colouring, because if I do that, the autofocus goes crazy and doesn't know what it's supposed to be doing. It's like, oh, I don't understand. So I'll just use this. I'm just going to use the Tuscan Sun on its own. Again, I've talked about this like a bajillion times with this particular page, but this is a really teeny weeny little area we're working in. So there's no point in messing about trying to blend pencils and things. So I'm just colouring the right hand side of these dots with a heavy press of this Tuscan Sun colour, which is actually one of my favourite colours in this Arteza set. And this is going to pop out wonderfully, kind of like it does in our bird down here, but the spots are bigger, so they're going to pop out a bit more. So I'm quite excited about that. Okay, so now we're on to our blues. And obviously I want to start with the peacock blue. So again, I think I'm going to keep it quite dark in near the body and then have this lighter colour much more prominent. Now there is a little line here that separates off the very tip of the wing, and I'm going to press really hard with this peacock blue. It is such a vibrant colour, and that's just going to give a wee pop. Okay, so let's work on these other sections now. So very light hand with the peacock now, because we're going to use this and we're going to blend it with our other pencils. And I'm just going to go around and fill in the rest of this. And say it doesn't matter if it doesn't look like much at this stage. We don't really care right now. Okay, our next colour down is the Mykonos blue, which again is a very blue, but in a good way. There's no such thing as a not good blue. Unless you're not looking for a blue, then it's a problem. So there, I'm following along that sort of perforation, this dotted line. And maybe have more of the Mykonos in towards the base, the body. Yeah, so as per, nothing terribly exciting to report just now. We are still under lockdown conditions, not much we can do about it. It is easing slightly, but we have had a lot of isolated cases in certain parts of the country, so we're just kind of trying to be good. We all wear face masks when we are, not when we're out in public, but if we go to enter a shop or any enclosed building that is for public use, we put our face masks on, and that's just the way it is, and it's fine, and we all get on with it. But there's nothing exciting. We have started harvest here at home, but the weather is not great. We've had a lot of thunderstorms and we've had a lot of rain, which is not conducive to getting harvest done, so we've stopped for the time being. And the weather's to be really changeable over the next week or so, so I'm not sure how much we're actually going to get done, which is annoying. But we shall see, we shall see. We've got 2 cows left to calve, and then that's all our calving until January, done and dusted, which is really nice. This is the first year as well that Mr. Jem and I have been together that we do not have to calve cows on Christmas Day, or have calving cows at Christmas. So this is the first year where both Mr. Jem and I will actually have Christmas Day off, which is amazing. And I'm really excited about that, because in the 8 years we've been together, that's never happened. So, yay! But a wee while to wait before we can enjoy that one. We are talking about trying to get a couple of days away from the farm. So I don't know what we're going to do about that though. We shall see. I'm not optimistic at this point, put it that way. Right, I think that looks all right. I don't know if I want to leave it like that though. I think I might go back with my peacock blue and maybe just add in a bit more of that. I just feel it's a bit wishy-washy looking and we want it to be quite vibrant compared to this toadstool background that we've got going on here. But I'm kind of losing my nice sort of blendy shades, which upsets me slightly. I might just have to darken them down a bit, I think. Yeah, I might just leave it like that. Okay, so I'm going to move on to the other side. I'm just going to do the same thing on the other side, so I'm not going to talk about that because you already have heard me talk about that. We'll just get on with it. One of the interesting things that's happened lately to me is that I've not been running out of ideas for videos. I've always got way more ideas for videos that I'd ever be able to execute in all my years that I'm going to be on or have been on the planet. I've started this segregation. That's the only way I can describe it. One of the things that I've found more so over the last little while is that I seem to have very little time to do the things that I want to do art-wise, and I always end up making them into a video because it's like, well, why would I not make it into a video? Because then it's a video. And because of that, I've really lost the art and colouring side of things as a hobby. It is basically just YouTube now. So I've been trying to kind of segregate that and find even just like a little tiny pocket of time once a week to art something that I want to art and specifically make the rule that I'm not making it into a YouTube video. I have been quite strict with the Enchanted Forest thing. I have that as a permanent work in progress and I still going front to back on it, and I'm working on a page just now and I have so little time, but I am chipping away at it very, very slowly, and I have kept that as a private sort of, you know, gem time. And I kind of want to do the same thing with drawing or painting. Not to have, you know, one drawing, one painting, one colouring page, one whatever on the go all the time. But even just one or two little projects that I can do if I've got a spare half an hour maybe at night and, you know, things are quiet. So that's what I'm trying to work towards now. Just to give myself that little bit of breathing space, because I'm starting to lose sight of why I started this YouTube channel in the first place, and I need to get back to that just for myself, because with the best will in the world, like I enjoy making YouTube videos, it's fun, but there's a lot that comes with it aside from just filming the video, and that becomes very hard work and it takes a lot of time. So you have to keep, you know, your enjoyment, you have to maintain that enjoyment side of it. And not let your hobby sort of disappear and lose its identity because you've started making videos about it. Because then it becomes not fun, and that's what we don't want. So I've started on researching stuff for a new project. Well, I'd say a new project, a new piece that I'm going to do. And it's something I haven't done for a long time, which I'm completely obsessed with. And that is drawing white on black. I actually have a separate black sketch pad, like from my normal sketchbook. So I'm going to start something in there, and I'm going to start it over the next couple of days because I don't have any drawings that are kind of like works in progress just now. So that'll be quite fun. I will post what I do on Instagram. I always share with you the stuff that I've done, bar one or two pieces that were maybe like gifts or commissions or something like that. But normally I share what I'm doing, and that's something that I will share. You know, I'll be quite happy to share it once I'm finished, but I don't feel the need to document it as a YouTube video. Right, so I've got this vermilion colour for the body as well as my Tuscan sun, and this lead's got a break in it. I can see the core snapped. Damn it. I really don't want to upset that because it's not split all the way across. Right, we'll persevere. And again, I don't want to do a huge amount here. I don't want this to be ridiculous, but I think just by sort of separating off these different sections of the body here. That vermilion is lovely. And when you go over it with the Tuscan Sun, it mellows it out, but you've still got quite a rich colour. It just doesn't look as orangey. And look at that. That's just like popping out there like nobody's business. Kapow! And that's exactly what we wanted. Well, it's exactly what I wanted. I don't know if you guys wanted it, but it's what I wanted. So I'm just running the vermilion on the underside of where the line work is for each section, and then I'm going over it in just a circular motion with this Tuscan Sun. And that's blending that out beautifully. Sections are getting a bit small here, so just see what we can do. Ooh. I'm getting to the point where I have to hold my breath when I'm putting this in. Here we go. Ow, just poked myself in the hand as well. Recently was my one of my best friend's birthdays, and this is my friend that's obsessed with the Moomins, and I got her the Colouring Heaven Moomins special for her birthday. Now she does a bit of doodling, but she's not a colourist. Like she's just not into colouring at all. And I thought to myself that this is a really risky gift because she might, there's a tiny chance that she might not like it, but then I was like, it's Moomins, even if she doesn't want to colour it, she'll still like it, but there's a large probability that she won't colour in it. So I decided just to bite the bullet and do it anyway, and not only does she like it, but she's coloured in it, so I'm pleased with my efforts. Okay, there we go. So our butterfly's kind of matchy-matchy with our bird, which personally I'm actually okay with. The centres for these flowers, I do want to go with this vermilion again. I just think it's a good colour to, not vermilion, shut up Jem, with this Tuscan Sun. And I might even slip in a bit of the vermilion as well, but it doesn't really go with the pink and purple, so maybe not. These flowers are more pink than purple though. That's a concern. I'm going to go and get my colour wheel, and I'm just going to use this as an exercise to show you kind of like through like a thinking process. A thought process. I've got a trusty colour wheel here. Oh, people keep asking me about this. This is actually a quilter's colour wheel that I got in, I kind of got it in Hobbycraft or somewhere like that. It's really handy though. Yeah, so if we think about a split complementary colour scheme, if I turn this around, I always like the colours I've got at the top for some reason. If I pop pink and purple in there, then that takes me to like a yellowy greeny colour. Now obviously we've already got green in all of our stems and everything, so realistically we're going to want a tetrad colour scheme. So if we do this, so we've got purple and pink, which is our petal colours, and if I follow this line down here, so we're going by this box here, that takes me into the darker greens, which is what we've used for our stalks, and this other corner goes to yellow. So it makes perfect sense for me to use yellow for the middle of these flowers, and not only that, there's a green backdrop as well, so that's going to keep everything together. So although we are in a really, really busy picture, we're still actually following a colour scheme that works. So yeah, I just thought I'd give you that little bit of theory there. So I think just what I'm going to do here is, again, thinking about where the light source is coming from, I'm just going to very quickly pop some of this in. Now this is tucked in behind, so there's not going to be a huge amount going on there. And I'm going to pick out another darker yellow, but this vermilion is far too dark for that. So I'm going to consult my swatch book. Okay, so Tuscan Sun is where we are here. So I think I might pull in pumpkin. Vermilion is the colour I've been using, which is this one here, because you can see that's orange veering into red, so that's too severe. But I think if we pick out, maybe, bearing in mind that this is what we're using, maybe if we pick out the pumpkin or even the orange actually. I think we'll go pumpkin first, but I don't know how much of an impact. I don't really want a huge impact, but we still want to... add a little something something because it's tucked in behind. So, oh no, that's perfect, okay. So it's just like a hint of shade rather than, oh, this is a completely different colour because it's in behind something else. And I do want it to be a bit more yellowy than orangey. Yeah, so maybe it's getting a little bit of light peeking through there. I don't know what this is down here. I've got a white bit down here. I don't know what it is. This bit here. But okay, we'll deal with that in a minute. So with these ones being in the foreground, we're not going to have that much use for the pumpkin. But I think a little bit, I'll just add it in this one here. In this, more in the centre part here, even just to have like a little accent, you know, like just that little sort of C shape or, you know, oh, this one's teeny tiny. Like, what am I going to do with this one up here? It's absolutely toty. I might not bother with that one. Maybe pop a wee bit orange in that one. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'm just trialing here. This is something that won't take me long to do, the ones on this side as well. I've missed a flower here. I don't know how that happened. But we'll be doing the centres anyway. Just very quickly. I've got this great big one here. This is a big beastie. I'm just going back over this Tuscan sun to make it a little bit more intense. Yeah, that looks good. It's nice to have one of these big ones every now and then. Just another shape to play about with. It's good. Chalk's making noises behind me. He's kind of groaning there. The last day that I was filming, he was snoring, and now we're groaning. He is turning into an older dog, right enough. He's just had his birthday, and so has Pip. So Pip is now the grand old age of 2. I don't know where the last year's gone, but Jock's 8 now, so he's firmly in the middle age camp now. Right. In terms of feeding him though, that's him a senior dog, but I don't believe that. I'm just checking that I've not missed any, but I haven't, so that's cool. When I'm finished this entire thing, you know, when I'm finished this page as well, I will post this on Instagram as an entire piece, if you like, because they are joined together. I know we've only really been working on this one, but yeah, I'll do that all together. Now, there's these little like kind of frilly cuff things that I've done on these mushrooms, and I have no idea what pencil I've used for it. I don't think this is all. I've kept all my pencil combinations, but I don't think I wrote that down. Okay, it's got to be one of these colours, these types of colours. It looks... It might be turmeric. It might be turmeric. This is why I should write them all down, and I just don't. Right, here's turmeric. I don't think it is turmeric, but it's pretty damn close. Yeah, maybe. Where did you? I'm just going to go for it anyway. I've clearly not done anything particularly taxing with these on this side, so I'm going to do the same here. Might make them a wee bit darker round in like these tucked round corners again, just because of the light source, but apart from that, I don't think I'm gonna sweat the small stuff. I think, I don't know. I'm not convinced. I don't know what colour this is. But as I say, I don't think it's enough to make any sort of difference, to be brutally honest. I have also solved my audio problem. Finally, I figured out what it is. I have a mains cable for my camera, and this is so that I don't have to charge and keep switching out batteries when I'm recording, especially when I'm doing longer videos like this. And the audio buzz is coming through the mains cable. Basically the mains adapter, it's a battery that fits in the camera, but it's got a mains cable that runs from that battery to the plug in the wall, and that's what's causing it. Yeah, so I have the toss up now between being able to have the audio on the same file as the actual video and having to change out batteries when I'm doing longer videos, or I can record the audio separately, then try and match it up in editing which would allow me to have the camera connected up to the mains all the time. So, because I hate editing, I've decided I'm much happier switching out the batteries and having the microphone connected to the camera. And that's just the way it's going to be because I can't deal. Right, okay, so we've got these wee mushrooms down the bottom now, and these are... I don't know, I don't want any more blue because there's a lot of blue going on down here in varying shapes and forms. So I've picked out the colours from this mushroom here, which is marmalade, and also these two greens, which are spearmint and shamrock green. So that is what we'll be using, and I just want to kind of like play about with this. It's really difficult to decide what's a focal point and what's not, because to me there's too many focal points. So I guess it's just a case of picking and choosing. So I'm going to start right here. And this marmalade, it's actually quite a delicate colour and I really, really like it. So we're just going to take a wee bit of time to build up this colour. There we go. So you can see it's more a case of, you know, multiple light layers to get that colour to sort of come out from somewhere. And again, I'm focusing on this right hand side because the light source is coming from the left. So more layers on that right hand side. There you are, and that's popped out quite nicely from there. So down here, I think I'm still going to have the marmalade caps on these ones, you know, these separate bits. So I'll start with the spearmint. I really like this colour. And I'm just going to use my shamrock, which is slightly darker, to kind of accent some of these parts. And then I can go back in here. And then I've got my marmalade for the top. I actually really like that combination together, the marmalade and the kind of minty greens. Might as well do this one while I'm here. And there we go. I'm just trying to kind of like put a bit of an accent on these little dotted lines. And I maybe have this a lot darker under here as well. There we go. I've decided I'm going to leave these petals white. With everything coloured round about it, it's going to make it stand out a little bit more. There we go, pop a little bit of that in there. Oh. I'm really enjoying these Arteza pencils. I really, really like them. I wish they would hurry up with open stock though. After I've done this picture, I doubt that I will be using these pencils again until such times as we see open stock options, because there's a few pencils that I've chewed quite far through now, and obviously there's no hope of getting a replacement at this stage. So I'm kind of sad about it. I have noticed that there's, you know, there's always coloured pencil trends, and the Castle art pencils are really popular just now, and there's this resurgence of people ranting and raving about Caran d'Ache Pablos as well. They've always been good pencils, but they kind of fell out of circulation in terms of people talking about them for a little while there. And the other thing that people are ranting and raving about now as well is the Black Widow pencils. And to be perfectly honest, the Black Widow pencils, the Monarch set is a lot of brighter and pastel colours, as from what I can see. I don't consider the Black Widow pencils to be good value pencils. I just don't. I don't like them that much, to be honest. They're okay in terms of a coloured pencil. They're not awful or anything, but there's pencils that are coming in around the same price that I much prefer to the Black Widows. And this, you know, they keep introducing and bringing out new sets as well. I find that very, very irritating. They knew the pencils were doing well after they'd brought out the initial like 2 sets. Why did they not just wait and bring out one big set? So they're basically, you know, obviously over time the price of those pencils are going to come down, but I'm not that fussed on them myself. They're good enough for, you know, what I would want, but given the choice, if that was the kind of budget I had, there's far better pencils that I would select rather than the Black Widows. They do have some quite nice colours that you can't get in other sets though, which I like, but it's not enough to make me want to, you know, continue to buy them. And you can get them open stock now, but you have to contact them directly, which, you know, that's okay. I've got this underside here, and I've done this underside in the, you know, this sort of colour again, so I think I might as well just go for it. Why not? And I'll maybe use the shamrock to... Yeah, let's do that. Okay, we're down to our final item. I'm quite excited. We've got our gnomes to think about what they are wearing, and I actually haven't given this much thought. I was thinking red and green, and then I thought they might look like Christmas gnomes, and I didn't really want that either. So I think what I'm going to do is, because I've got this feeling that like on their legs, it's not trousers they're wearing, and it's not bare legs, it's tights. It's like proper Robin Hood tights, as far as I can see what's going on. That's my theory and I'm sticking to it. But just because they've got Robin Hood tights on doesn't mean that they need to be green. So that's really where I'm at with this just now. That's as much thought that has gone into this. So we're going to have to remedy that now and figure out what we're doing. There is a lot of blue and yellow in the picture, so I don't really want that either. And I'm actually thinking that green might be a good idea. But let's stick with a lime green for their tights. So let's see what I've got. Fluorescent yellow here. I don't know what that looks like. That's quite close to the background now, and none of the gnome's legs are in the, you know, touching part of the background, so that actually might be an option. So I've got fluorescent yellow there, and there's lime. They're maybe a bit close together. Absinthe green. Oh, there we go. Right, okay, so I'm happy with those two colours. And we could use those for cuffs and the tops of their hats as well. That might work. Again, the gnomes are far enough away from the background that they're not going to like blend into the background. Yeah, right, let's do that first. And then I might take a darker green for the rest of the tunic. I'm not entirely sure. So again, we're working in quite tight little spaces. So we're going to sharpen our pencils so that we have a pointy point. So I've got a layer of this, what did we decide we wear? Fluorescent yellow first. I love their little knobbly knees. It kind of reminds me of the of Arthur in The Sword and the Stone in the Disney version. He's got really knobbly knees. And then I can bring this down here. He's just like a spindly, gawky little chap, but that was the entire idea. Oh yeah, look at that. I actually quite like that colour. Okay, so we want to do this little hat here. Okay. And I'm just going to use, when I'm using the absinthe, I'm really just kind of like accenting things. I'm not really colouring anything in drastically. That's okay though. Yeah, I'm glad I've chosen this colour now. And we'll do his cuffs as well. Now they do have like belts and trims. I'm having to look over at this one because it's kind of difficult to tell. But they do have like a belt and a trim on their actual tunic. So I'm thinking that maybe that we should be doing that as well. So that's like there. I'll make that a wee bit darker, I think. Again, I'm in kind of teeny tiny spaces here. Right, so in terms of a really dark green, let's see what we've got to play with. Cloud blue. Do you know what's really nice? I'm sitting here doing this colour along. This cheers me up. These types of videos really cheer me up. I wasn't in the best mood when I started this. I am looking completely the wrong pencils. That's not going to help me. Right, dark greens. We've got jade, which is more of, you're almost into like a turquoisey green. Here. I think jungle green, which is what we've been using in the background, is... decisions. I think I'll go basil, because that's got more yellow in it. See if I just show you here, because a lot of these little guys are in behind, they're in front of the greenery, so we'd need to pick a shade of green that's going to pop out. So I think basil would be a good place to start. Now we can put a darker colour down on top of it. So we'll try it out on this little guy here, because it's still quite a bright green, which is, you know, quite in keeping with the kind of more yellowy limey shade we've used there. And then we can maybe use the jungle green just to put, you know, get a little bit of definition. That's my one complaint about Arteza pencils, apart from the open stock thing, is that the writing comes off the barrels really easily, and that's one of the newer pencils. The jungle green only comes in the 120 set, so this is like, I actually did a video on the differences between the old pencils and the new pencils. I'll link that in the description for you if you haven't seen it. Most of the changes are superficial, but one of the things is the barrel thickness is different. So this is one of the newer ones, and you can see how much the writing is worn off. Like, you can't really see the word green anymore. You can see jungle, but I'll see I've put the sticker on now. And that's one of my kind of pet peeves. Anyway, I digress. So we'll darken down, like just in the creases and everything here. We're not here to make this fancy, but we do want a little bit of definition and all the rest of it. So I've just stuck in a couple of lines there, and I'm going back in with my basil now. Basil. And we'll just blend that out a wee bit. Yeah, right, happy with that. I'm happy that they're wearing green. I've decided that the gnome that's going to have the pink and purple beard is going to be one of these ones over here, because we've got a lot of beard to play with. And that is going to be my Billy Connolly gnome. So yeah, that's going to happen. So you'll have to check out Instagram to see how that turns out. Right, let's do this little guy here as well. I think these are really endearing, these wee gnomes. I really like them. Sometimes with stuff like that, they can look a bit like weird and like verging on creepy. But these gnomes they look like really friendly gnomes. I like them. I'm picky about my gnomes, clearly. God. Honestly, seed colouring, I come out with statements that I never ever thought I would say. The finer points of creepy gnomes, because we all need to know about that. Oh, wowee, honestly. Yeah, I just feel, obviously, these gnomes are living in nature, and I feel that green tunics and, you know, just their attire in general, that would keep them safe from predators, but also would make sense if they were utilising the materials that were round about them. You know, greenery would probably be quite a heavy feature, one would think. And saying that, I don't know, with the amount of colours we've got going on in here, who knows? I like under his armpit as well. That's going to be pretty dark round there too. Again, never really thought that I would be talking about gnomes' armpits, but there you go. Excellent. That's what we like. Okay, we're doing okay for time, and I've only just got to touch their beards up now. That sounds really wrong. Touching up their beards. Oh my. Right, I think I'll just do these three guys down here as well, you know, like do their tunics while we're here. I'm sure you guys don't mind. Mr. Jem and I were talking the other night about how much Pip has changed, because it was her birthday the other day, and we were talking about how much she's changed in the last year. The last of her like puppy habits have kind of disappeared. She stopped snorkeling in her water bowl. Now she still likes to have a skiddle about, like she still likes to splash about in her water bowl, but she used to like submerge her entire snout and blow bubbles every time you filled up her water bowl, and that would go on for 10 or 15 minutes. So she stopped doing that now, and that was really the last of like our puppy hobbies, I used to call them. And it's nice in a way, but it's quite sad as well. But she's settled down a lot now. She's still full of beans, but that's because she's a collie. But in terms of actually behaving like a more grown-up dog, she's definitely there. And the other thing that she started doing as well, which actually made me a wee bit sad because it made me realise that she's not a baby anymore, she started self-regulating her food. Up until now, I've basically just been feeding her as much as she would want to eat, but within our normal meal times, and our dogs don't get a lot of snacks anyway. And she's at that point now where she'd started leaving a lot of her food at lunchtime at 1 o'clock, normally when we feed our dogs. And that's when I knew. I thought she's at a stage where she's stopped growing as quickly, so she doesn't need the extra sustenance. And most dogs will do that themselves. Some like breeds like labs are really greedy, they won't do that. But yeah, so she's done that herself. Normally we would just monitor their food intake when they get to, you know, like near that age. And if the dog was starting to put on, you know, weight, if it was starting to get round again, then you know it's time to cut them back. But Pip's actually done it herself. And I was like, oh no, that's you, you're a big girl now. So she's on the same sort of ration as Jock now. So she gets slightly more because she's a younger dog, and obviously she'll burn it off, whereas Jock not so much anymore. He still likes a good runabout, he's still quite active. So yeah, that was the last shreds of puppyhood are now absolutely gone. Oh, that's the wrong pencil. Nearly made a boo-boo there. I was too busy talking about Pip. I don't know if this is hair down the... It must be hair down the back of the ear. I'm making it hair. But I am enjoying Pip much more as a dog now than I did as a puppy. I really didn't like her as a puppy, but I'm not big on puppies. And everyone thinks I'm a bit weird for that. And I'm okay with that, but it's just having the patience for them and, you know, all the rest of it. I don't enjoy that puppy stage. I've said this before, I really don't enjoy the puppy stage at all, and I'm glad it's really short because it's just too much. Once they're toilet trained and you have like basic control over them, that's, you know, I'm good at that point. But depending on what breed of dog and depending on the dog themselves, that can take a while. But those first few weeks, like see between sort of like 8 and 16 weeks, I just hate it. I absolutely hate it, and I can't wait for it to be over. And as time's gone on with Pip, the older she's got, the better we get on now. And I wouldn't be without her now. She's just a good little dog. She's really funny though. She has picked up other habits though as she's grown, although she's got rid of her silly puppy habits. And one of her things that she does is when she wants to go somewhere or do something, she'll go and rattle the doorknob of the door into the area where she wants to go. Like she nudges it with her nose, because most of our doorknobs are round in this house, and she just goes up and flicks it with the tip of her nose so that it rattles. She does that when we get fed because she wants into the room where the food is, and she does it when we want to go out for a WALK. Shh, can't say it, they're in the room. So that's her way of sort of like, oh, come on, like this is what we want to do. Jock's also doing really well with his injection. Rather than, we have him on medication for his itchy skin, and just for various reasons we decided to try out this injection, and it's still holding him off from scratching, which is great. Really, really good, because that's him. It's coming up on a month now, and they say it normally wears off after about a month. So we're just going to wait and see. But it is very expensive, but we're going to try and keep him on it until around Christmas. And it's really just to get him out the habit of scratching, because a lot of his scratching was habitual. And I think we're kind of starting to get him out of that now. So we're just going to like spend the extra money. It's fine. It's not an issue. If it's making him less miserable, and he was miserable, then I'm quite happy to, you know, to spend that money and say hopefully that'll break the cycle of this habit of scratching. One of his favourite times to scratch was first thing in the morning, when you let him outside to go to the toilet, you know, after being in all night. And the first thing he would do is not go out and lift his leg, which is what you would think he would do. The first thing he used to do was go out and scratch. And I know it was a habitual scratch, because if you interrupted him and distracted him, he stopped doing it. And, you know, he didn't go back to like finish the job kind of thing. So things like that, I'm hoping that's going to, you know, by giving him this injection so that he's not scratching at all, I'm hoping that we might have broke that horrible cycle. But he seems to be a lot happier. He's certainly got a bit more energy. That was the wrong pencil there. Basil, there we go. He's certainly got a lot more energy and a bit more bounce about him. But I knew he was struggling with it because, well, you know when your own dog's miserable, and I don't like having a miserable dog. So I think we've cheered him up a wee bit, which is great. Right, okay, dokie. One little finishing touches on the beards. and I would like to use a kind of bluish. In fact, I'm going to use Dreamy Blue. Dreamy Blue, which is one of the metallic pencils. Just for a bit of fun. I'm not going to colour in their entire beards, don't panic. Everything will be okay. Right. Now, all we want to do is we just want to give that sort of impression of some texture. So if we want to use some flicky lines, but we're not going to go crazy with them. We are not going to go crazy with them. So we just want to add in a few here and there. And let's get the, you know, the fact that it's hanging over the step in there. There we go. And then maybe a couple of flicks in his moustache as well. And we've got this wee guy. His beard seems to be a wee bit more unruly here. Like he's got flicky out bits in his. Okay. Or maybe it's just that top part that's flicky outy. Yeah, because when it comes down here, it's a bit less. So this is purely just preference, but I'd rather not have an entirely white beard. He's got a rather big moustache. They've all got big moustaches. I just noticed that. Didn't realise they were that big. Okay. Well, everyone. I wasn't sure this day would ever arrive. Okay. But here we are, we finished our page. And this has been an adventure, and I have really enjoyed this page, even up until now. I know this is 10 installments, but there's been no point of this picture where I haven't enjoyed it, and this was a new artist to me as well. I'd never coloured any of his stuff before, so I'm super pleased I got the chance to do this. And again, I've got to thank Judy, because it was Judy sending me this book that started all of this. So Judy, thank you so much once again for your generosity and your thoughtfulness as well. So yeah, I definitely would like to colour more in this. I've just realised I've missed a bit down here. God damn it. Thought I was winding up for a finish there. Right, okay, yeah. This is going to keep happening though. I'm going to keep finding stuff and be like, oh no. Right, okay, there we go. Yes, so thank you very much, Judy. I very much appreciate it. I've had really good fun. I hope some of you have maybe learned a few techniques or tips along the way while we've been doing this. And as I said near the start of the video, when I have finished this side as well, I will post this completed page spread, double page spread over on Instagram for you. So that is it for today, guys. I want to thank you very much for coming and hanging out with me. I hope you've enjoyed yourself. Please take care and look after each other, and I'll see you back in the cave on Thursday for another video. Have a great day, everyone, and bye for now.